He's walking down the street. She started mouthing at him. And I've just thought, no, don't mouth at him. And then she's gone and smacked him, hasn't she? And I've just seen this look in his eye, just like, I can't even explain, just pure evil. And I've thought, okay. Anyway, this is about, at this point now, there's a mass brawl. There's her fighting him trying to fight her, the guy sticking up for the girl. And I've gone to go back in to see, because the kids are there. So my little boy's asleep at this point. And I've seen a knife on the floor, and I've thought, what the hell? Who's got that there? Who's brought that there? It could only be him. So I thought, he's going to kill me. If he gets up from this fight, he's going to kill me. So I've just grabbed the knife. And I've just stabbed him. I'm just stabbing. And then my friend obviously somehow has got in the way and I've stabbed him. I'm just in a mass rage. Something's come over me, I don't know what, and I've thought, oh my God, what are you doing? I've ran back in the house, I've put the knife in the sink. By this time, he's had a chance to get up, he's ran to the British Legion, Working Men's Club. The next thing I know, armed police have come, get on the effing ground, get on the ground. So I'm put my hands behind my head, I'm on the ground at this point with a gun to me. And all I'm thinking is, what have you done? My little boy's woken up. And he's come. And he's seen me. They've got the baby, but his head's come out, but the cord's wrapped round his neck.
Oh, no.
Not once, but 4 flipping times. 4 times. So he's blue.
No!
Yeah, the baby's blue.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
What's going through your head now?
Well, he's dead. I'm thinking the
he's
baby's
dead?
yeah. I mean, there was another baby killer that came up to me. She'd stuffed socks in the baby's mouth. Yeah, killed the baby. There's a knife on the side, so I've grabbed the knife. I've said to him, I'm going to juck you up in a minute if you carry on doing that. He's then grabbed the knife off me, starts slashing his throat. I've gone screaming. He's then dropped the knife. My mum's in the corner on her own, like literally in a heap on the floor.
As many of you know, I like to start our podcast with a hard-hitting story. And Gemma sent me a list of all of her stories. And every single one is off the scale hard-hitting. We are talking now, disclaimer, if there's any kids in the room, you probably want to get them to leave. We're talking gang SA. We're talking attempted murder. We're talking people getting murdered, burnt, all kinds of mayhem throughout Gemma's life. She's got a YouTube channel and it is called Bipolar Mum's Journey. The link will be in the description box below this video. Graphic content warning, like I said, and there's a legal restriction from the cops on me and my channel. Because of the harrowing nature of what we're going to get into, I have to ask, Gemma, are you willing to waive your anonymity?
Yes.
Thank you, and thank you for coming on.
You're welcome.
Yes. So let's start with what happened to you at age 17.
Age 17, I was at a party with friends. Obviously, we were all 17, so we were all broke. There was an older lady that hung around with the kids. You know, you get those women that just kind of hang around. She had all the goods. She didn't like me, so they wanted me to leave and her come with the goods. Therefore, I was booted out. As I'm leaving, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm going to go to my grandma's because it's across the road. So I've gone across the road. As I've gone across the road, this guy's approached me with broken English, saying something about a lighter. I couldn't fully understand what he was saying, but I presumed he's asking for a lighter. So I said, no, I don't smoke. And the next thing I know, he's grabbed me round the back of my mouth. Another guy's came, and there's 2 of them now, and they've managed to drag me across the road, and I thought it's a prank because this is where I've just come from the party. Where they're taking me is back to the party, so it must be a prank. So at this point, I'm thinking it's a prank. Unfortunately, they didn't take me back to the party. They took me into the next set of bed sits. They've dragged me into the bed sits, up the 2 flights of stairs, but still covering my mouth. So I'm in so much shock. I wasn't even screaming at that point. I was just thinking, is this happen? This is such a sleepy time. Is this happening to me? They've dragged me upstairs up to the top room, a tiny little room. There's like a stereo and then there's a bed and a wardrobe. They've thrown me on the bed. And by this time, there's now five or six coming in. Sorry. Yeah?
You're good. It's effective.
Two of them
I can feel it as well.
have grabbed me. Two of them are holding me on the bed. Why somebody's taken, one of them's taken my jeans off, my shoes, ripped my jeans and my shoes off. He's obviously penetrated me. And they've taken it in turns and swapped. By this time, I've frozen. And I'm just trying to think of your ex-boyfriend. Just close your eyes and think of your ex-boyfriend. So I was doing it and I was thinking, just if they're going to kill me, surely they can't do this. Sorry. Surely they can't do this to me and let me walk out alive. But they did. They've thrown my clothes at me and I've got dressed really quickly. He's grabbed me by the scruff of my coat and pushing me down the stairs. By this time, I'm just sobbing, like it's just come out. I'm just sobbing. A guy has opened the door from the other bedsit. If I'd have known he was there, I'd have screamed. And I'm kicking myself for not doing that. He's come out and said, what's going on? They've gone, nothing, like nothing. He's pushed me out of the door, but it doesn't matter because I'm free. Like, just that relief, I thought, I'm alive. So I've ran down these little steps in this cobbled path. And I've thought, just get home, just go to, my mum. The next thing I know, I hear a car speeding up next to me. Get back in. I was thinking, oh my God, they're going to kill me if I get in. And I've just started screaming then. Something's come over me and I've just started screaming. And luckily, he's drove off. I've managed to I don't even know how I got to my mum's. I haven't got a clue. I've got there, I've got straight in the shower, stripped off, thrown my clothes on the floor, got straight in the shower. And I was just like, that's, just forget it happened. Just get in the shower, just go to bed. I've gone to bed. I've got up the next morning and my mum, it just took my mum's face to look at me. Sorry. And she said, Gemma, what's wrong? Sorry.
You're all right, you're doing good, Gemma. Just take a breath.
And it goes, I've been... And she said, by who? And I said, I don't know. And she said, well, was it one guy? And I said, no. She goes, well, how many? And I said, about 6. She went, 6. She said, are you sure? My own mum, she said, are you sure? And I said, Mum, I know I'm a tearaway team, but I'm sure. She said, I'm going to ring the police, right? The police have come. They've interrogated me not once, but like twice before they've even gone, which is I get it. I totally get it because I know girls do make up lies. And because my story's not changed, they've gone. They've gone to the flat. These guys have gone, completely left the building, totally gone. So straight away, what does that tell you, They've come back, they've interrogated me for a third time, took my clothes, everything I was wearing. Luckily, I didn't put them in the wash or anything like that. And then I've had to go to a centre to be tested. And then obviously after you've been through that and then being tested, it's just extra trauma on top. And I remember I was so tense that the test was just... It was just hideous. Anyway, time's moved on and these guys have gone. It's on Crime Watch at this point. Luckily, Crime Watch helped the situation. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but back in the day, that's what it was. There wasn't social media and all that stuff. These guys have gone to London. Luckily, the police force have found him. They found a letter in one of the cars saying, look, Dad, to his country of origin, I need help. We've done this to this girl. I need da-da-da-da-da. It's there, black and white. So they've got these guys. you know, everything a blur in between. I've gone to court and they've said the options were video link or you stand up with the curtain. And I've said I want to do video link. And the police have said it will just go so much better for you if you stand up. Sorry, can I take a sip of water?
Yes, go for it. Like I said at the very beginning, Gemma's links are in the description box. Please support her channel, Bipolar Mum's Journey. We'll get to the prisons bit later on. You're doing great.
Sorry. Anyway, I've gone to court and I've stood there with the curtain. I can hear their voices and the voices. I can smell the jacket. But it's just trauma after trauma. And anybody that's been through an SA case will know you have to relive. They have to know detail for detail of how they penetrated you and everything else. You know, it was a long process. And it comes down to a jury verdict, as you know. And even with everything, all the evidence of me giving my evidence, they still got away with it.
No. Absolute beasts. That's disgusting.
I'm sorry. But I've never spoken to anyone about it, Sean.
Yeah.
But you know the worst thing wasn't even that. Mm-hmm. Everybody dropped me, my friends. Everybody blamed me, calling me racist slurs for the people that did it.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. Just take a few breaths real fast. So Gemma's not told a story before. This is the first time she's told it like this to someone in an interview style. She's a really strong person. She's been through a lot as well as what you're hearing now. There's just so much more. So please show your love and support in the comments and subscribe to the channel. And also if you're watching this on the live premiere, I imagine she's going to be watching the premiere as well. So please show your love and support because the survivors who come on the channel, they don't know how the world is going to react to them. And when they see all the love and support come in, it's a cathartic experience for them and it inspires other people who've been through these things also to come on and tell their stories.
So that was that. Luckily, I had a really good workforce behind me. My manager was amazing and she came and she'd seen all the paperwork and all the evidence and they kept me on, you know. They were the only people to support me, but at the end of the day, you want your friends to support.
Of course. What was your job at the time?
I was assistant manager of a coffee shop. So that was fine. But yeah, can we move on from that now?
Yes, let's move on from that. So you then get in a situation that results in a sentence at HMP Peterborough, which I have visited.
Yeah. The
women there. And what, could you set the table? What led up to that, please, Gemma?
So obviously after what happened to me, nobody would touch me with a 10-foot barge pole. And then this one lad came along, obviously knew I was vulnerable, preyed on that vulnerability, knew that my mum was a single mum.
Let's just slow you down a little bit.
Okay.
So how did you meet this person?
He was on the scene with certain friends and he would pop in and pop out. And it was just one of them really, that's how I got to know him.
And when you say he sensed you were vulnerable and took advantage of that, could you perhaps give an example of how he did that?
Well, he would just turn up and demand that my mum let him in, even though he had addictions himself with alcohol and certain other things. And he would just demand that I come in. And then when my mum would say, no, you're not coming in, he would call her all the names under the sun for being an addict and all the rest of it. So the red flags were there from day one. He was obviously unhinged. And I just ignored him because I was so desperate for attention, like an idiot.
So how long were you going out with this person?
I was going out with him for 2 to 3 years. And it was just fast moving. I ended up pregnant very early on with him. You know, we moved into a flat together and he had a good job. He had a good, character to the public, but behind closed doors, he just wasn't very pleasant.
Was there a honeymoon period?
Yeah.
That charmed you?
Yeah. Oh, buying me a ring, engaged, love bombing, you're the best person I've ever met, we're soulmates, the stereotypical scenario of...
How long was that period for?
2 months.
That was 2 months.
If that.
And then it just went...
Just turned. he started smashing. First, we had a house share because obviously we were working in college. Both of us were in college. So we had a house share and he just started smashing it up. He would take a party drug, and when that kind of ran out, then he would get loose, smash up the place until he smashed it up no more, that there was no toilet seat at one point. You know, the sink was broken in the kitchen, the tap was pulled off.
Are you pregnant at that point when he smashed things up?
No.
How does it make you feel to be in this place with this guy smashing things up?
Because I saw domestic violence growing up, I kind of just presumed that's how it was.
It was a bit normalised.
It was kind of normalised, yeah. So I just thought, oh, this is normal. And I was also, I'm not saying I was innocent, I was probably also a little bit off key because of my upbringing and what had happened to me. So there would have been days when I was maybe argumentative and things like that. So I'm not saying I'm fully innocent, but I didn't deserve what was coming next, you know. So as I got pregnant, I think reality hit. We moved into my mum's at this point because the landlord kicked us out because he'd damaged the property so much. There was one occasion as well where he had gone out with 2 knives to stab a person. And somebody had seen him wielding these knives. The police got called. He'd thrown the knives into an empty drawer. So at this point, the police have come. The knives are not on him. Police have found the knives, arrested us both for possession of offensive weapon. So we've both been arrested for that. He's refusing to take the blame, dragging me down with him. We've come out of the police station. My mum's agreed to have us hit at hers, even though she wasn't keen on having him. She was like, well, Gemma's not going to come if he doesn't come, and then I don't know where she is. So she was kind of safeguarding me, I suppose. We've then was living with her. I got pregnant. We got a flat. And then it just escalated from there.
So when you're pregnant,
yeah,
tensions are multiplied.
Oh my gosh, especially young as well. I was 19. So, you know, and then I think he ended up on tag because I think in the court process of him being arrested, I think he'd spat at a police officer. So he ended up on tag and I couldn't rarely leave the house because if it was past his tag time, he would be saying, you better get back to this effing house now, you know, just the constant of abuse of control. So all this is going on. I'm pregnant. I'm working. I worked up until 8 months. I've got the stress of that, the stress of him. And then, boom, the baby's coming. I've got my mum there for support, my sister as well, because we were very close, despite her addiction. We were very close. And then I've got him in my ear. This is like a 24-hour labour. And he's going, I don't know why they're fucking here. Why are they here? Your mum's taking over the show. Why is your sister even here? I'm the one you should be with. I'm the one that should be here. So not only am I giving birth, tiny as anything, in horrendous pain. I've got my mum panicking, my sister crying. He's in my ear. I'm just completely... Well, I just don't know what the hell's going on, to be honest. They couldn't get the baby out. They've cut me from back to front to back. Baby's not breathing. Team have come in. The crash team, is it? Crash team have come in. Thank God they've got him breathing.
Oh my God.
And I've still got abuse off him. Why is your mum taking over the show? Why is your sister even in here when all this is kicking off? And then, you know, the rest of it's a blur. I'm just thinking, I don't even want to go home at this point. The nurses were so kind to me. I was like, this is like so lovely. I just want to stay here, but obviously you can't. We've gone back and then he's just been so abusive. I remember one time, I can't remember the situation. I think he'd gone out and he'd give a couple of girls a lift home. And naturally I was like, what have you done? What have you been doing? You've obviously been cheating on me. Just emotional. I've just had a baby. You know, it's the usual stuff. He's then grabbed me by the collar. The baby's on the bed because I've just changed the baby. He's thrown me on top of the baby. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
I'm panicking, thinking, oh my God, I've killed the baby.
Oh my God.
The baby's
How old is the baby at this point?
2-3 weeks.
It's just really delicate and vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, but I feel like a failure.
You were only a kid and certain things happen in our lives that are brutal, that just change our destinies for the worse sometimes, and we go through it and we emerge stronger people, which is where you are today. So don't beat yourself up for what's happened in the past, because you can't change that.
No, but
Just all you can do is be happy in the present with being a successful person now, and being a confident, brave enough person to tell this story, because I know you are like one of the most intensely charismatic speakers we've had. There's just something about you. I mean, when you sent me that video,
don't be nice to me, Sean. Don't be nice to me.
when you sent me that video of you speaking, I was on the edge of my seat, just thinking right away, wow, she's got what it takes.
Don't, please.
No, you do. I don't blow smoke, and I've interviewed over 1,000 people, and you were up there, and I'm sure the people watching this are seeing, how strong you are to relive these things by recounting them, because that's what you're doing. Yeah.
Moving on, Sean.
All right. Well,
Don't be nice to me, please.
Here's.
Yeah.
All right. So I know what this is leading up to.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going with this story?
Yeah, okay. I do. So at that point, he's become the martyr and he's picked up the baby. He's gone to me again, flipping bathroom. And then it's all, Mummy's a psycho, Mummy's to blame.
And he's the victim, of course.
He's the victim, of course.
Typical narcissist.
This is just the small part of it. This has just carried on for months and months and months. And because he was so charismatic, he was able to get away with it. And because people knew me growing up, knew my mum was, they've seen me, she's from a broken home, she's the one to blame. Anyway, so I've called the police on numerous occasions, but it was back in the day. I think it's different now, where the police will still carry on the charge regardless of whether the victim drops the charges or not. I think it's something like that, but back in the day there wasn't. It's like if you drop the charges, then it's dropped. So I've called the police on numerous occasions when he's battered me, and then I've dropped the charges, a day later or so.
You've kind of skipped over that.
Oh, sorry.
When you say that he's battered you,
yeah.
How severe was that?
Oh, like black eyes, bruised face, a lot of the time in the back, the stomach, places where people couldn't see. And because it happened so much, I'm just skirting over it, because it was just a regular occurrence on a weekly basis.
Was it with his fists and his legs?
Yeah,
or was it,
full.
Did he use anything?
No, always fists. It was always his hands. And I remember one time I was at a pub one time and I was making a phone call, and just out of the blue, he's come behind me, grabbed my hair, dragged me to the floor and just started booting me. Just out of the blue, just because he's had a thought or whatever, or I'm on the phone. I don't know what it was. I mean, this happened all the time. And then eventually he was like, let's move to a different part of the country, like they do.
To have more control over.
To have more control. So I've gone, oh, okay, because otherwise he's going to take my son and I'm never going to see him, and that's the case. We've moved in with his father and stepmother, who've already had a child taken away for a child abuse, which I didn't know till after. So he's gone and put me and my son in this situation. They were the most strangest couple you've ever met. I just knew something wasn't right. So I've phoned my grandma and I've said, look, I need to get a flat. You need to help me with the deposit because I haven't got a job yet. He's dragged me from my job, and she did help me out with the flat. So we've got this flat in Biggleswade, and then he's just started on the cider. He became addicted to like cheap, big 2-litre bottles of cider, and that's just when he just went loose. He'd be on these Xbox games, on this blooming headset to these people, you don't even know who they are, playing these games, thinking this and that on a game. And then something kick off and he'd just go bash and whack me with the controller. I'm getting angry now as I'm talking about it, because I'm building up to what happened next. One day, I don't know what triggered it, he's woke me up in the middle of the night. And that's another thing he used to do. In the middle of the night, I'd wake up and he's essaying me, because I'm so closed up because of the abuse. I remember one time I opened the door and I was like, oh, I've cooked, something. And he went, oh my God, you're ugly without makeup. And my heart just broke. My spirit was completely crushed. And I was like, you swine. No, do you know what? I don't even think I felt like that. I just felt devastated. Anyways, that was just, on and on and on. One day, he's battered me black and blue. I've got 2 black eyes and my jaw has got bruises all down it. I'm looking at my little boy and you can tell he's got stress-related issues.
How far into the relationship are you at this point?
Through 3 years.
3 years.
3
You've
years.
been putting up with this for almost 3 years.
From the start, from the very, very start. He is then... Where are we at? So my little boy, he's like having like an asthma attack. And now I've done so much research, I realised that asthma is can be trauma related.
Anxiety.
So I've just thought, I need to get out of here. I clearly need to get this boy out of here. I'm just going to ring an ambulance. I've rang an ambulance and they were like, oh, I think he's all right. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not all right. I'm going to the ambulance driver. He's not all right. And he's seen me and he's like, oh, okay, we're going to take you to the hospital. I've gone to the hospital and there was a nurse there and she's gone, he didn't need to come here, did he? And I've gone, no. She's given me this leaflet for domestic violence. I said, I can't take that. I can't take it. She's gone, put it in your shoe. Just put it in your shoe. And then she's like, how are you getting home? And I goes, I've got no choice, because I was there for, she'd made us tea, give us biscuits, I'd saw my little boy playing with toys in the hospital, just being free. God, I'm so sorry, Sean.
You fine, Gemma?
But I feel like such a failure. Nobody can hate me.
You were so young, you can't keep blaming yourself.
More than I hate myself, but I hate myself, Sean.
You can't do that. It's in the past, you can't change it. You're a young person. And it was the bad things in life that happened to you that led to this. It was circumstances beyond your control.
Anyway, I've had to ring him up for a lift. And he's going ballistic. He's like, how dare you ring me when I've got work? How dare you? He's like, no, how's my son? Are you all right? He's come in. He's gone hell for leather in the hospital kicking off. And she's just mouthed at me. She's gone, call number. Anyway, I've got home. And I've thought, I've got to make a break here. And I plucked up the courage to get on the train and get back to where I used to come from. My mum said, you can't come here, because she's like, I can't deal with him coming here, because she's already a vulnerable person with addiction. She's already lived through trauma. So anyway, I've got into this women's refuge. But again, it's just contact's constant and he's just ringing me and getting in my head.
Is your son with him at this point? Or you?
Sorry, no, my son's with me.
Okay.
And I've gone back to him like an idiot. Because, the hostel weren't great. The people weren't, vulnerable. Everyone's kicking off. One girl had even took my son into her room and basically kidnapped him. And she was feeding me. She was only a kid, so I don't blame him. She was obviously, something was not right. And she was feeding me notes under the door saying, you're not getting your son back. So I'm in a position now thinking, what the hell? Am I safer with him? Am I safe here? It's difficult. Some women's refuge, they're on the ball, they know, but they just let him come and pick me up. And all the way home, I just knew it was a mistake because he was like, how dare you leave me? Anyway, another night's come and this time it's really bad. I'm black and blue. But by this time I've met 2 friends. And they've said, somewhere in the process of all this, my little boy went to nursery and for a little bit, and I've got talking to this mum, and she's got a kid, and we've started hanging around with them. And they said, oh, do you want to go to the zoo? So I've gone to the zoo, and I've piled makeup on to cover everything, but they've still seen it. And this one guy said to me, who was in the friendship group, he's like, has he done that to you? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, nah, that's not happening. You know what I mean? So I already knew he was on the ball with it, but I just didn't know what was going to come. We've gone back home and we were with our kids. We shouldn't have had a drink, but we've all had a drink. We've gone for something to eat, gone back to ours. Then the girl that I was with is going, come on, we'll just sneak to the pub, because her boyfriend was all right. That was normal for her to go for a drink, but for me, that's not a normal thing to do. And I was like, I can't sneak to the pub, you don't understand. She's like, you are, just come on. We'll say we're going to the supermarket, just say we're going to the supermarket. She's egged me on. So I've gone, right, okay, okay, we'll do it. I'm gone 15 minutes. He's already getting this other guy that's with us in the friendship circle to come and look for me. He's halfway down the street by the time this guy's gone, you need to come home. Just come home. So I'm heading home. He's come out. Sorry, I'm getting close to it, so it's just making me a bit...
It's all right, take your time.
Dizzy. He's walking down the street. She started mouthing at him. I've just thought, no, don't mouth at him. And then she's gone and smacked him, hasn't she? And I've just seen this look in his eye, just like... I can't even explain, just pure evil. And I've thought, okay... Anyway, this is about, at this point now, there's a mass brawl. There's her fighting him trying to fight her, the guy sticking up for the girl, and I've gone to go back in to see because the kids are there. So my little boy's asleep at this point, and I've seen a knife on the floor, and I've thought, what the hell? Who's got that there? Who's brought that there? It could only be him. So I've thought, he's going to kill me if he gets up from this fight, he's going to kill me. So I've just grabbed the knife. And I've just stabbed him. I'm just stabbing. And then my friend obviously somehow has got in the way and I've stabbed him. I'm just in a mass rage. Something's come over me, I don't know what. And I've thought, oh my God, what are you doing? I've ran back in the house. I've put the knife in the sink. By this time, he's had a chance to get up. He's ran to the British Legion, Working Men's Club. The next thing I know, armed police have come, get on the effing ground, get on the ground. So I'm put my hands behind my head. I'm on the ground at this point with a gun to me. And all I'm thinking is, what have you done? My little boy's woken up. And he's come. And he's seen me in that position at that moment in time. I thought, well done. You've ruined that boy's life. You've just ruined his life. You should have got him out and you didn't get him out. And then I was arrested for attempted murder. When I'm in the police station, the desk sergeant thought it was a joke to come and get the hatch open and parade every officer that came on duty and go, look at her, butter won't melt, look at her charge, look at her, face of an angel. And I've just thought, you cow. You know what I mean? It's just so inconsiderate. You know, that was like the first part of the system starting to let me down. It's like they could have seen a victim, not a perpetrator, or both. Yes, I was a perpetrator too, obviously. I'm not denying that, I'm not disputing it. Do I regret it? Yes and no. So where are we now? You know, I've just thought, I'm in a position, I think, I've done it. I'm just going to tell the police I've done it. And I've got a solicitor's phone call. I've finally got hold of a solicitor. She's gone, don't. Just don't, because there's more to this story. And if you go in and say that, you're going to get the longest possible sentence that you're going to get. So thank God I had this solicitor. So I've gone in and got no comment. They've had to remand me. So I'm remanded at this point, but the charge has at least been dropped to GBH with intent because he's come out of surgery with superficial injuries, like just stab wounds to the arms. Luckily, it wasn't the torso. Luckily, I didn't kill him. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. I'd still probably be locked up.
Sounds like you're in a blind frenzy. He wasn't really targeting body parts or anything.
No, I was just in a blind frenzy. It wasn't, you know, I did think he's going to kill me and I just knew I had to stop that from happening. So whatever it resulted in, it resulted in. So but at this point, my mum's taken my baby. Well, my toddler. But then he's been able to have him. My mum, being my mum, has let me speak to him on the phone, and it was the worst thing she could have done because then he stopped her contact. So now I've got no contact. My mum is the only person in my life at this point because I've only got my mum. She's got no contact. He's now got into another abusive relationship where I've got the paperwork with me of the social service reports where, well, we'll go into that at a later time. But it wasn't healthy for my son, and it was even worse than the situation he was in with me, because at least I'm his natural mother, so I've got that bond with him. But when a girl comes in who's also very young, that's also being abused.
Know what that means? Ooh, I've been hearing that a lot lately. That's what I hear when we make another sale on Shopify, the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're selling Pokemon cards or hoodies, Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can successfully grow your business. Covering all your sales channels, from a shopfront ready POS system to its all-in-one e-commerce platform. Shopify even gets you selling across social media marketplaces like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Full of the industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand without learning new skills in design or coding. And thanks to award-winning help and with an extensive business course library, Shopify is ready to support your success every step of the way. What's lovely about Shopify is that no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify will be there to empower you with the confidence and control to take your business to the next level. It's time to get serious about selling and get Shopify today. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a £1 per month trial period at shopify.co.uk/Sean, SHAUN, all lowercase. Go to shopify.co.uk/Sean to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.co.uk/Sean. Link in description box if you're watching this on YouTube. Thanks for supporting our sponsor. Back to the podcast. Cheers.
She's going to take it out, unfortunately, on that boy. And that's another scale of me letting him down, but talk about something else for a bit.
Yes. So you are on remand then at this point in the story. How old are you at this point?
22, I think. 22.
Okay. So is it a long time period before they take you to trial, and what's happening during that time period?
So a lot of crazy things happened in that time period. It was like 8 months. So I think I was on remand for 8 months. So I've stupidly got into a whirlwind relationship, but that is the father of my 3 children. So it was a success story, okay? So I've ended up getting with him. I've ended up getting pregnant. And yes, you can judge me, and yes, I was stupid, but it happened, and he's here and he's brilliant. So
Good.
That's one good thing. However, during my time on remand, I'm walking up the street and a guy's come down the road, suited and booted, all Ralph. You know, I've never seen this kind of character before. You know, he's got an aura, let's say, right? He's gone, I'm going to butcher the Cockney accent now, but he's gone, "Oi, darling." And I've gone, "Yeah." Swoon, you know what I mean? And he's gone, "Are you that one that stabbed a fella up?" I've gone, "Yeah." Thinking, oh no, where's this come back? I've gone, "Yeah, unfortunately." And he's gone, "I've got a business proposition for you." I've got, it weren't a contract killing, it was it was a domestic. He's gone, "Go and get your suited and booted, get your best outfit gone, and meet me in that pub." So I've gone, right. Thinking, oh no, he's either wants to kill me, he either wants me to be an escort, I don't know what's going on. By this time, it's in the 2000s, I've got no eyebrows, I'm not attractive at this point, so I'm thinking maybe I'm not, he doesn't want an escort. I've got Suda Boot and I've met him in this pub and there's a pile of money on the table. And I've gone, okay, what the hell's going on here? He's gone, "This is for turning up." And I'm like, okay, I'm getting groomed. This is what's happening here. He's gone to me, "What do you know about cooking books?" So I'm thinking, Jamie Oliver, Gordon Ramsay. And I've gone, "Oh, yeah, I know enough. I haven't got a clue. I'm clueless, completely clueless, but I've styled it out." And he's gone, "Right, this is my number. Call me in 2 days." By this point, I've gone back to the flat with all this money. My boyfriend's gone, where have you had that? What have you done for that? I've gone, "No, I promise you, all I did was turn up." And he's like, "Well, that's suspect to me." And I'm like, "Well, listen, we're skin. I can't get a job because I've gone for every job interview going in the town. They know me as the local stabber, let's say. unfortunately. I can't get a job anywhere, so I'm literally left with no choice. I know, Sean, sorry, I've got to make a joke out of you. Let's lift the mood.
Indeed.
Anyway, 2 days later, I've gone out with this guy, and he's took me to a little village bank. I'm stood in this village bank. The next thing I know, he's gone to get a substantial amount of money from the counter. Woo, woo, woo. Alarms are going off, shutters are going down. I'm like, no. I'm already looking at 8 years. No, don't drag me into this. I've gone, I don't want to say his name, but I've gone, like, mate. I said, look, I'm already looking at 8 years. I know you might think that this is what I want to do, but it's really not. And I'm having a go at this Shoreditch gangster in the flipping bank. Anyway, he's managed to get the money, but the guy from the back said, I've told you you're not to have any more money until I've seen your books. And then, light bulb moment, I'm like, oh, okay. This is what is needed to be done. Anyway, luckily, before I got myself into any situations, my court case came. So let's just leave it there.
Yes, let's.
Yeah.
So court case, does this involve a trial or some kind of plea bargain?
They sent me to trial, then it got adjourned on one occasion because what they were trying to do is get the baby out, so they didn't have the paperwork of having a baby in prison. But my solicitor said to me, what did she say? There's mother and baby units, so you'll be fine. She's like, the best option you've got now is to get yourself remanded so that you've got more chance of keeping your baby in prison. I know this sounds horrendous, but yes, it happened. So I've gone to the judge. I want to be remanded, please. Just let's get it started. This is what it is. I'm guilty, boom, let's go. He said, okay, fine, yeah, remanded. So at this point, I've gone guilty. I did it anyway. There's no point dragging out a trial and wasting public money and all the rest of it. So I am remanded. Luckily, I didn't have to go in a sweatbox. I went in a van because I was pregnant, so I missed that experience. So I've gone to prison. So yeah, that's it. I'm in prison at this point, getting me fish and chips in a box in the, waiting room. And it sounds really bad, but I always knew I'd end up there. It's almost as if I manifested it. And I know that sounds horrendous, but I really used manifestation to the wrong use, didn't I?
Could you take us through the first day in prison?
First day in prison. So they've banged me on the healthcare wing. So they stick you on there before, until you can get a wing. And the toilet's so old, I can't flush this bloody toilet. So there's it's stacking up, let's say. And then this other inmate's coming in, she's like, first prison hack, flush it with a pen. I'm flushing the toilet with a pen, and I'm thinking, I'm heavily pregnant. I've got no bag because my boyfriend had said, oh, don't take your bag, they won't remand you. And I'm like, no, I'm actually remanding myself. So, that was the first night. And then because I was locked up on a Friday, you see, it was weekend regime. So the doors open all Saturday and Sunday, and I'm thinking, this is a doddle, I'll be all right, even if it is 8 years. That's the mindset you have to have.
What was your sleep like that night?
Horrendous. Tossing.
Could you describe where they housed you to sleep?
Right, so I don't know what your experience was, but it's a metal piece stuck to the wall. The mattress is, that big. I've got a scabby little blanket, a pillow that big, heavily pregnant. So all I'm feeling is metal on the belly.
Oh.
It was horrendous. And then the lady I'd been in, the poor soul, she was on immigration charges, and they just kept, because they didn't know what to do with her, they just kept shipping her from prison to prison. She was just an endless loop. So she was crying all night. And I'm trying to console her and console myself.
You had a cellmate?
Had a cellmate, yeah.
Okay.
So, and she was in dire straits, the poor love. But she gave me some prison hacks, especially about fruit as well. So that was great. Yeah. Anyway, like I say, I'm swanning around thinking, I can go out the cell. This is perfect, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Sunday night come and they've put me on C wing. No, it wasn't C wing, A wing. Monday morning comes and door's not. I've had breakfast, gone back in, they've locked me back in, and I've thought, it just must be a little thing. Half an hour's passed, and I'm like, what's going on here? I've pressed the button, and I'm like, excuse me, love, no one's opened the door. She's like, it's not an effing hotel, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, my door was open yesterday. She's like, yeah, it's weekend regime. She's like, have you got a job placement? I was like, no. She's like, 24-hour bang up, love. So I was like, oh dear, what have I done? I can hear women howling down the corridor, people screaming, telling her to shut up. I'm thinking, this poor woman, she's clearly in distress. I'm going to have to because I've got this let's help everybody mantra. So they finally let me out. I've scurried down to her. I thought, I'm going to see what's going off there. So I've said to her, are you all right, love? She's like, oh, no, I'm not, screaming and crying. I'm on sham marriage charges. I've married this man off the internet and now he's done the off. And I thought, you naive sod. But I didn't judge her. I was like, okay, you'll be all right. I'm giving her lots of encouragement and all the rest of it. Tuesday morning, they let her out, didn't they? So all that fuss for nothing and I'm sitting there. And then I've toddled up to the next cell where there was a traveller girl there and she was in for GBH with intent. So I thought, oh, great, let me ask her how long she's got so I can compare cases and stuff. And she'd got 4 years. So I thought, 4 years isn't bad. This is what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to get as much information as I possibly can on my own sentence without reading the bloody Archibald. Sorry for swearing. And then that was it, really. Not really much happened on there. It was quite boring. Go on.
No, keep going.
Right.
Keep going.
And then they've moved me to C wing at this point. So C wing, would be known as the pussy wing, unfortunately. But that's where the pregnant people are safe, the vulnerable people are safe, and unfortunately, child murderers are safe. So you're going to house pregnant women with child murderers. And it wasn't long before I don't know if I can mention cases. Can I mention cases?
If they're high-profile cases, yeah.
Yeah, so not long before I'd gone into that wing, Baby P's mum was coming out of that wing. Oh, yes. So luckily...
For our viewers who are not familiar with that case,
Yeah.
if you know a bit about it, you could explain to the viewers who that is.
Just toxic parenting. Her and her, I think, partner physically assaulted this young boy in the most worst possible case, and unfortunately ended up passing away. Horrendous story.
And do you remember first laying eyes on this person?
No, this is what I'm saying. She went out just before I got in the wing. Didn't cross paths, luckily. So at this point, there was no child murderers on there. Or so I thought. I think there was one case that nobody really knew.
There's always someone undercover, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always someone. And so, yeah, it weren't too bad on there. Like I say, because there was no really fights on there because it was the vulnerable wing. So the worst thing you had on there was the self-harmers. So we would have one particular lady, she would flood her cell on a regular basis. And I remember one night it was coming into my cell and I'm thinking, oh my God. And I've had to get all my belongings off the floor. And I'm like, do you have to do that? I'm gobbing off because at this point I'm heavily pregnant and I really just had enough.
Did she say why she was protesting?
No, she was so vulnerable. She really had severe mental health problems. And she was covered in gaping wounds. And it was horrendous. And even one time when the water was leaving her cell, it was stained with the blood. So she'd obviously cut herself and then it was in the water. Ooh, yeah, just, yeah.
If viewers haven't seen our interviews with the female prison governors, you might want to check them out because they have a lot of stories about that kind of thing.
Oh, I'm sure they do. So where are we up to now? Like I say, nothing really happened on there. I got a job in a place called The Link. So this is a place where... This is a place where everybody comes to get their appointments. So if you're leaving the jail, we'll help you fill your benefit forms out if you need benefits or if you need a hostel or if you need a doctor's appointment or mental health appointment or counselling appointment. Anyway, it's an appointment-based unit. Luckily, I've got two friends at this point who are like really switched on people. They shouldn't be in there, really. They're not criminals. They've just made a really little mistake. And they've seen that I'm quite, I'm walking around at this point going, I'm just going to stab somebody in a minute because I'm just in this, I don't even know what was wrong with me. I'm obviously unhinged at this point. And
did they know what you were charged of as well?
Yes, yeah, they did. And they were like...
Were they a bit wary of you then?
No, they weren't wary of me. They loved me. They were like, they saw that you just stop being an idiot, calm down. And they were like, they just took me under their wing.
Imagine in a female prison... I'm not trying to condone what you did, but
no,
there's crimes of integrity.
Yes.
And that would have been viewed as a crime of integrity.
Yes, exactly.
Hypothetically speaking,
yes.
some beasts have some things coming to them.
Yes.
And sometimes these things happen and the public are sympathetic to them.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe it could have been my... I don't know what it was. But anyway, they took me under their wing. So they've kept me out of trouble the whole time, because you've got to think I've got to get a place on the mother and baby unit. I'm already, angry. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where my son is. My partner's dragging my name through the mud.
What trimester are you in at this point?
I would say I was 8 months gone. I don't know the trimesters. Don't ask me all that. I'm not one of those people that follow the pregnancy calendar. Yeah. So yeah, about 8 months.
So are you like in discomfort then? And...
Yeah, I'm just moody. So of course I'm a little bit unhinged. We can get a little bit unhinged when we're pregnant. So I'm saying things I don't mean, and I'm just, visiting. This whole system is, a mess, because you're asking for something and then they're taking 5 or 6 days to even contemplate doing it.
Did you have cravings?
No, I didn't actually. I think I had just too much stress. Yeah, no, I didn't have any cravings. I couldn't get anything anyway.
Exactly.
I had to make do with a chicken that's like pigeon, rice, these little biscuits, which I heard many stories about them that I won't go into, but, gay for the stay, and there are lots of stories.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
We like these stories.
Oh, you like these stories?
Yeah, can you go into it, please?
Oh, no, do I have to? It's so grotesque.
The biscuits, did you say?
Yes, they're called bingo bars.
Yeah.
And girls would put them somewhere.
Got you.
And other girls would eat them out of the area.
Got you.
It was the same with the yoghurt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
very well worded for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. You're good at this.
So I tended not to eat the biscuits or the yoghurt, because I became a little bit of a phobia. I was like, oh no, because all I could vision was that.
I had female co-defendants in Arizona.
Yeah, did you?
And like, if a woman come in who was like a baby P kind of woman,
yeah,
the women would hold her down. They had socks inside of socks.
Yeah.
SAO with the socks.
Yeah. But there's some crimes, unfortunately, you just can't forgive.
People create their own karma.
Yeah.
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 And the justice system is so lenient on these people.
Yeah.
The people inside think, right, we're going to take matters into our own hands, because these guys just get slaps on the wrist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true. So true.
And I think the public, and if you're watching this in the comments, it's called convict justice. How do you feel about convict justice on the beast? Let us know in the comments, please.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, I'm at the link, and my friends are like, there's a thing called movement, where certain hours of the day you will go on movement, either back to your wing or to another placement or wherever you need to get to. We are supposed to be giving out appointments at this stage. I've seen a certain prisoner coming in, high profile case, and they've said to me, oh, are you coming, Gem? We're going to go and take the appointments out. And I've seen this prisoner, I've thought, oh no, I'm staying here.
Are you able to say that person's name?
High profile case, it's been in the papers, she's been convicted, can I say it?
Yeah.
Rekha Kamali Baker.
And what was her crime?
She stabbed her 2 children to death.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Not even that, Sean. She took the children to buy the knives.
No.
From a well-known supermarket. She's took them there in the day to buy the knives, took them home, and stabbed them. Sorry, I just need a drink.
Did she try and come up with some excuse for doing
I don't
that?
know what she came up with.
Oh my God. Any idea how old the kids were?
Oh gosh, I'm going to say teens. One was probably primary school and one was secondary school.
They're quite old then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
it was
tragic.
apparently, story be told, it was the relationship breakdown and it was revenge.
No.
She didn't want the dad to, experience these 2 lovely young girls who had the world at their feet, and they were just nice girls. That's the thing. They were just nice girls.
I hope she got lifed off.
Oh yeah, she did get lifed off.
Good.
Anyway, she's come to the counter because she's not one that goes around the prison. You can imagine why. She's come over to the counter and she's gone, hello, in this squeaky voice.
Did you know her history at this point?
Yeah. Luckily, my friends have gone because they didn't like me kicking off, and I've got a biro at this point. I mean, I didn't, before you start worrying, I didn't. But I'm thinking, I'm going to poke this in her eye. That's how angry I was. And I mean, that's pot kettle, isn't it? Because I'm in there for stabbing somebody myself. I've gone to her, you better get the F away from this counter now. You ain't having your appointment and you ain't having no more effing appointments in this place. Go and sit on that sofa till next movement, and I don't want to see your face in this area again. She scurried to the sofa. She's like this till next movement comes. So she's buggered off.
Well handled.
She's gone away.
Well handled.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the first part of me knowing I wasn't as unhinged as people might think, because I was ready. But anyway, so that was that. I've gone back to the wing I've gone to and from work. I've gone back to the wing this one particular day where the officer from the mother and baby unit has come over, and I thought, yeah, because I'm worrying, where's my place? I'm in 8 months now. Where's my place? So I've gone, oh, hi. Are you here about my place? And he's gone, no, really nastily in my face. And I've thought, you little, So I'm angry at this point, thinking, that little idiot, that silly little man. And I've gone and saw the SO from the unit. So I've said to the SO, and I've gone, oh yeah, I've just seen that greasy beep. And he was rude to me, and I'm not happy about it. Well, worst thing I could have done. Because this SO thought it was a good idea to go and repeat the comment to the officer. So that's it then. I've called him a greasy beep. He's clearly narcissistic. And then he's just gone, right, that's it. I'm going to do everything I possibly can not to give her a place on the mother and baby unit. So by this time, I've gone for my regular check at the midwife. She's gone, your urine's come back with something in it. I can't remember the terminology. And we need to get you in hospital now because your baby's in distress. So the next thing I know, I'm being shackled in a car all the way to the hospital. I've had to go into the hospital in handcuffs, pregnant. The whole hospital's gone, whoop, looking at me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what the hell? This is so embarrassing. Anyway, we've sat down and I've said, can't you just take these handcuffs off me? And she's gone, no, not until we know that this is an emergency situation, and then we can take the handcuffs. Anyway, it was an emergency situation. They'd put the heart monitor on and the baby's heartbeat was really low.
Oh no.
Yeah, so luckily.
I know how you feel, because we had some of that as well.
It's horrible.
Crash team came in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyway, they've took the handcuffs off me, and luckily I got a really nice prison officer. She was really nice. I can't fault her at all. But she couldn't stay. Shift changed, and then I got somebody else. Won't mention what they were like. And then they rushed me in for to induce me. So I'm panicking. Ring my boyfriend. He needs to come. He's come. I've got 2 prison officers at this point, because they've had to unshackle me. So they need to make sure that I'm not going to run away during labour. I mean, who's going to do that? But whatever, it's how it works. My waters have been broken. The baby has opened his bowels in my womb. So yeah, that's all a mess. They can't get the baby out. They've got the ventouse. My boyfriend's saying to the prison officers at this point, can you just leave the room? Can you just give her some dignity? She doesn't know you. Just leave the room.
All right, stop for a second.
Yeah.
That's a lot of things you just described, because I've been through a lot of this recently with having a baby.
Yeah.
What was going through your head at that moment when they're trying to get the baby out?
That's all I was thinking. Get this bloody baby out. I'm in agony. Flipping baby out. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking anything else. I didn't care who was in the room. I don't think you do at that point.
The push, breathe.
Push, breathe, and nothing's happening. So then at that point, they've had to get a ventouse, and they've just suckered him out, and then they've gone, stop.
What does a ventouse look like?
It's like a plunger. Yeah, so they've got this great big plunger, and they're just pulling, and all I can feel is pull. And I'm like, by this, because I'd already had a baby, so I'm going thinking I'm a doctor, make the incision, just make the incision. They're like, we don't need to make the incision. I'm rowing with a fully qualified doctor at this point. Anyway, this is the situations I get myself into, Sean. They've got the baby, but his head's come out, but the cord's wrapped round his neck.
Oh, no.
Not once, but 4 flipping times. 4 times. So he's blue.
No!
Yeah, the baby's blue.
Can you see this?
Yeah!
What's going through your head now?
Well, he's dead. I'm thinking,
you think he's dead?
Dead, yeah. I'm like,
so you're in panic mode?
Yeah, I'm in panic mode. And my boyfriend's going, it's fine. White as a ghost. It's fine. I'm like, it's not fine. They've done it. He's like breathing for a sec. They've put him on the chest. Then the next thing I know. So yeah, they've cut the cord, and they've just, as they're cutting, they're shouting 1, meaning 1 time round, 2 times round, 3, 4. And, they've given him a little rub and put him on me, and then that's it. Boom, stops breathing on me. They've picked him up, grabbed him, put him in this unit, got him breathing again. Yeah, it was a mental situation. He's got jaundice by this point because of the whole opening of the bowels and everything else. So they've whisked him off to intensive care. And I don't even know where my baby is at this point. I've got these 2 prison officers that are wet behind the ears. They've got nothing about him. I can't even hold a conversation. My boyfriend, they've kicked my boyfriend out. He's sleeping on the chairs outside. And it was just a madness. I need to breastfeed because I'm thinking my only option now, I wanted to breastfeed anyway, but I'm thinking I need to breastfeed because if you take that baby away from me and not give me a place on that mother and baby unit, you're taking away my human rights. So I'm like, I need to breastfeed that baby. You need to give me my baby. Luckily, they've let me go down at periods of time to breastfeed and then extract in between, I don't know what you call it, milking myself basically. So, that's been all right. This is that I'm not knowing when am I getting this place on the mother and baby unit, what's going on. 2 weeks later, there's finally a call. And despite that little prison officer trying to ruin my place on there, I've got a place, haven't I? Because what happened, although you shouldn't get a place for although you shouldn't get a place for violence, domestic violence is different. So luckily for me, they saw it as a domestic violence case. I've got no crimes against children, no crimes, violent crimes against anybody else, I don't think. Anyway, so yes, I've got my place. I've got my place. I'm breastfeeding the baby in the cell. Boom, the door comes open. Who is it? Oh, my oh so lovely prison officer. Greasy, right? He's gone, greasy am I? At this point, I'm thinking, I'm in fight or flight. So I've gone, oh, no. I didn't say greasy. I said greasy. It's a street word. I'm just making things up now. I've never heard this word. It's a street word for cool. And he's gone, oh, really? I've gone, yeah. I'm thinking, you loser. Anyway, right. So I thought, oh, here we go. Now I've been nice to him. Now I'm going to get the bloody, special treatment. And what did I get? Oh, more than special treatment, mate. So he's at my door every 5 minutes. Because you've shown him a bit of attention. And now he thinks, oh, I'm just going to take. He's made this blatantly obvious to all of the prisoners. So then I've got girls turning on me now because they're thinking, why is she getting the special treatment? Why is he going to her door with slips for certain things and all the rest of it? And I'm like, I'm not asking for this. And I'm like, I'm not, this is not. And it just got more and more intense. And sometimes he'd even come. You know what it's like when you get, we call it canteen, you would call it commissary, right? And you have to wait a long time for it. You put it in one day, and then you get it like a few days later or a week later, whenever they can be bothered to do it. And you know what it's like. You don't have much money in there, so your items are like sacred. And I would get a bottle of pop to like last me the week, a bottle of fizzy pop, fizzy drink. And he would just come in and just open it and drink from the bottle. Well, at that point, I'm OCD. I'm not going to drink out of that bottle, drink from that bottle anymore. And he would just take and just, just things you shouldn't be doing. And then going on like he's like this hero and my friend and coming into my cell, singing and dancing. And I'm like, oh, just get out, just leave
Singing
me.
and dancing?
Oh, yeah. Michael Bublé was one of his favourites. I can't stand. Can I say that? I can't stop. I'm going to get haters.
What a bizarre character.
Yes. And he's one of them, it's like he's always got me swinging the keys, that very look at me. It's just cringy and horrible. It was horrible. Anyway, he's started to get a bit too much of a shine to me. And I've gone for my rottle at this point. So a rottle, for people that don't know, is a day out of prison. And so my boyfriend's met me, we've gone shopping with the baby, I've brought back some nice things, and I'm like showing him all not just showing him, but showing everyone. I'm like, oh, I got this. And I even got some of the girls some bits and bobs because I knew that they needed stuff too. And I also sent my friend a parcel while I was there, like went to the post office. I was that kind of person. I'm just an empathetic, kind person. And then he's gone, I wish that was my baby. And I'm like, oh dear. Right, where are we going? Like, where are we going with this? And then I get all the comments. Again, it's like, same scenario. Oh, don't you think like we're soulmates? Like we get on so well. And I'm like, Yeah, we get on well. Because I'm in a position now where, what do I say to this guy? You know, what do I say to him? Because is he going to get me booted? If I turn and be like, you better get the F out my room, is he going to turn on me? Is he going to try and get me off the mother and baby unit? I'm in such a horrible position. And one day he's just took it too far. He's gone out the cell and I thought, oh, thank God for that. And he's just burst back in. He's grabbed me, kissed me, pushed me on the bed. And well, you know, you can imagine the rest, can't you?
My God.
I'm not going to put up a fight. So what do you do?
There's nothing more vulnerable than a woman who just gave birth and
I've got
is
milk
in prison.
leaking, a baby in his cot. You know, I'm in no position to be doing that. I'm wondering what my boyfriend's doing. I can't get him on the phone, so your head's spinning already. What's he doing? Who's he with? Where is he? You know, I don't know when my next postal order's coming in. And this just went on. Just went on and went on and went on. And then he's rang my probation worker. Sorry, can I just take a drink?
Of course, yeah. When you say it went on and on and on, do you mean it? If you're looking for a gift, my new book, Sit Downs with Gangsters, is available worldwide on Amazon. We've interviewed over 1,000 people now, and we selected 10 of the hardest hitting stories to go in this book. Each chapter features the story of one of our podcast guests. Those stories are Shane Taylor, Knife Maniac's Redemption; John Elite, Mafia Hitman for the Gambino crime family; Joey Barnett, 35 years in UK prison; Ian Blink MacDonald, £6 million bank robber; Chet Sandu, Asian smuggler in Spanish Supermax; John Lawson, the hit team commander; David Macmillan, international smuggler's Thai death row prison escape; John Abbott, San Quentin prison shootout and escape; Michael Francis, Colombo crime family capo portrayed in Goodfellas; and Wildman, English enforcer in Arizona prison. Link in description box on YouTube, available worldwide on Amazon. Also, my next book, Untouchable Jimmy Savile, is getting published in December 2023. So check that out as well. It will be available worldwide on Amazon. Thank you for listening. Cheers. It went on that day, on and on, or over a period of days?
Different days. If he felt like he wanted a bit, then he's going to have a bit.
Did you feel able to talk to anyone about it?
In code, on the phone to my friend, in code. And this is a fellow prisoner that had been released. And she was like, this isn't normal. And she's like, if I was there, that wouldn't have happened. I don't know how she could have stopped it, but I think she just thought she would have been so much support for me that maybe I wouldn't have been so upset. And maybe on days I did turn to him. You know, when I was upset, maybe I have gone to him.
Like a Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
How old are you at this point?
22. No, 22 or 23. I had my birthday in there, so it could have been 23.
And weren't there situations of other officers approaching the cell or cameras or anyone like...
No cameras, because there was a mother... Yes, there was a camera downstairs somewhere. There was cameras somewhere, but he knew, so...
Blind spot.
Yeah, and then what would happen is on Sunday, the girls would go to chapel, because a lot of the girls I was on there were religious. Sometimes I would go as well, but then if he was working, he would say, you stay behind. And then he doesn't have to leave the wing then. If all the girls agree to go, then we all go together. And then whoever will escort us, but then to get out of it, he'll get somebody else to come, another officer to escort the girls that want to go, and he'll stay behind with the girl that doesn't want to go, even though I did. So yeah, that happened, and then he would use that time to, you know, whatever.
Did it go on for months then?
Yeah, months. Yeah, months.
Are you like trying to come up with a plan to get out of the situation?
No, I just couldn't. What can you do? I just thought I need to just ride this out. I'm just in survival mode now. And he's rang my probation worker, and you know, in the UK, so you're granted something for good behaviour called HDC, which is a home detention curfew, which is early release. So you can do like your sentence, but you can have a couple of months on tag instead of doing the whole sentence. He's rang my probation worker and said, Gemma doesn't want her early release.
Oh no. Is your partner at the time picking up on any of this?
No. No. Because I don't want to upset him. and I don't need him catching a charge when I want him. You know, he was really good during that period of time, and he would come and get the baby, take him for weekends, and, you know, bring him back and whatnot. So the baby's all allowed to leave the unit with the parent. So this has all happened, and then luckily my probation workers thought, hold on a minute, who doesn't want early release? Yeah. So, and she was a female, so, you know, maybe, I'm not saying men are silly, but maybe a man wouldn't have perhaps picked up on that. So I got out. Eventually, you know, I did get my early release. Oh no, I've missed a bit. So I'm at the link at this point doing my job. So at least I'm getting out 2 parts of the day. So you go to your job, you come back for lunch, then you go out again. He's only gone and got a job. He's moved from the mother and baby unit to the place where I'm working so he can be with me like all day. All day. And he's made it so blatantly obvious as well. I mean, they say narcissists are cunning. Oh no, he's stupid. You know, he was just making it obvious. Like, he got so obsessed to the point he was just making it obvious.
So was the other females in there picking up?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. This one girl kept saying to me, oh, he's on you. And I was like, yeah, he's more than bloody on me. He's like, you know, but it's made them hate me because they've thought, oh, here's little Gemma getting all the attention when it wasn't wanted attention. So eventually, you know, I've got out, and on the day that I was leaving, he didn't come into the prison because I think he was thinking she's going to say, but I didn't say then. I just wanted to get out and get safe, and I didn't even say it straight away. It was only on a probation meeting that she said, "Can I just touch on a subject with you?" She's like, "I had a very strange phone call from one of the prison officers." And, oh no, I've skipped a bit. Sorry.
It's all right, go back.
Go back. He's only turned up at my hostel. They've put me in a hostel. Yeah. And he's turned up at the hostel. And I've gone, you cannot be here. And my boyfriend doesn't know that. And he's not going to watch this anyway because he doesn't want to relive these experiences. I've gone, you can't be here. What, you know, and he's gone, if I leave here, you're never going to see me again. And I've thought, bloody bonus, mate. Of course. Just go. Anyway, I think he's actually thought to himself, what am I doing here? And luckily he's gone. So there was nothing happened or whatever. My probation worker said to me in the meeting, can I just touch on the subject? I had this strange phone call where the prison officer said you didn't want your early release. And that's when I've just broke down. And I've gone, yeah, you know, I could be pregnant. And she's gone, no. And I've gone, yeah. And she's like, that was it. So here I go again in the same situation. And I thought, no one's going to believe me. No one is going to believe me. I've gone to the police station and he said, well, was it rape? And I've gone, well, no. You know, he's put me in a situation. I mean, it's not like you know, I've been raped. I'm sorry, SA'd. And, sorry about that.
All right, keep going.
Okay. And he's like, okay, so was it a relationship? And I've gone, well, no, not really, like not a wanted relationship. And so at that point, I've just thought, this guy just thinks I'm just some girl that's whatever. Anyway, it's all come to court. He's been sacked. Nobody wants me to go to court at this point because they don't want it dragging through the papers and everything else. So I've not gone to court, but there's enough evidence there to prove everything. He has then he's been able to turn it on me to say that I'm the seducer. I'm the one that did the seducing. Bearing in mind, I've just had a baby. I'm in a really rubbish position. And so that was it. He just walked away with community service.
Oh, that's insane. In Arizona, you are a ward of the state. Mm-hmm. So even if you have consensual with an officer, it is statutory SA.
Yeah.
And
you're in a position of power. Even if you take a shine to that person, I mean, there's all the hype at the moment with the HMP Wandsworth, and now the prisoner is now being victimised. Look, at the end of the day, in my eyes, that guy's a victim. I don't care about the situation. She should have known better. You know, she's the one in the position of power. Yes, these are big burly men, and of course, you know, they might think it's cool or whatever, but at the end of the day, she shouldn't be doing that. It doesn't matter whether you're male or female. When you're in a position of power, you do not use that to engage in that kind of behaviour. You just don't do it.
Do you know her history, that woman?
No, I don't know her
She's got an
history.
OF account.
God.
And she did a documentary with Channel 4 about couples who, I don't know how to say it, swap and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it seems to me it may have been a publicity thing. Part of it may have been motivated for her OF account.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well then, I'm completely wrong with what I'm saying then. Wow.
Well, that's what the media
You've
said.
got to be a pretty sick person to do that for popularity.
Yeah.
I mean, the world's going
If
crazy.
that was the primary, I don't know what her primary drive was.
Well, in my case, it wasn't a publicity stunt, unfortunately, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's got away with it. Community service. Look, I don't want to make this guy's life hell. This is why I've not spoken out for 15 years, but I just want him to know that that was his chance to prove to me that not every man in my life wants to take advantage of me. I haven't got a dad. Every man that I've been out with has been completely off key. And I just needed a friend, and he read the signals too just wrong. I was just nice because I didn't want him to be horrible to me. I didn't need him to.
Gemma, you were at an extremely vulnerable, low moment of your life. You've been through hell. Don't beat yourself up over it. And again, sometimes you got to go through the bad to meet the good people. And you told me earlier you met a great guy during this hell, and you're still with that person today.
Yeah.
And perhaps you wouldn't have met him if you hadn't gone through all of these horrible things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like the parable of the Chinese farmer. Bad thing happens, but good things happen because of the bad thing. So you got to kind of appreciate that, even though it is really dark. And I appreciate your bravery reliving it.
Gosh.
It's all right. You're doing great. So he gets a slap on the wrist, basically.
Yeah.
Is there a point where does your partner know by now because of this?
Yeah.
It's going through the court process.
He knows, but I think he was so angry that he couldn't help me, so he's just closed off from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as a man, you would want to end that guy's life if you found it at the time. Mm-hmm. It's just an instinctive thing. Mm-hmm. So I can understand, the stress on him as well, the pressure on him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him that, and I feel bad for speaking out because I know this is something he doesn't agree with. He doesn't want me to do it, but it's something I need to do. And maybe it isn't going to be the best decision for me, but I can't heal without finally talking about it all, Sean.
And people, I know my followers are going to totally salute you and support you, and you're going to get loads of messages from them saying you did the right thing, you're brave, and it'll inspire other people to speak out as well because it helps them.
This is it. This is what I want to do because I haven't looked for it, to be honest, but I haven't seen a lot of victims speaking out with their face showing anyway. And if I can just reach one kid or one person, just that one person to say, like, don't be ashamed, it weren't your fault. Because we just internalise that shame, and I felt like a piece of rubbish for 15 years to the point where sometimes...
It's all right, you're good.
I can't even take my kids out because I feel like I'm an embarrassment to them. Because they are such lovely children and they've got such a lovely life that I hate myself so much that I don't even go out of the house sometimes.
Would you say that hate has gone down over the years, or is it still quite strong?
No, it's still strong. It's still as strong as it was 15 years ago.
Have you spoke to anyone about it, and therapists or anything? I've had a good therapist in my life.
I've had a forensic therapist, but they diagnosed me as a sociopath. Mm-hmm. So where'd you go from that?
The thing is, they're quick to diagnose people and put them on medication. I think you've got to try different therapists.
Yeah.
Find one you click with that has a non-medical approach. Because many of them are just working for Big Pharma.
Yeah. So you would say go private, maybe.
I would say just keep trialing therapists.
Yeah.
Until you find that one that you click with, that you got the chemistry with, and you'll know.
Yeah.
You know, my partner's gone through postnatal depression. And she's had to get a therapist, and she talked to various ones before she's found one that's really good. And that this person's really helping her. So there are some good ones out there.
Oh, but bless her though, because it's the worst thing. I definitely had postnatal with my firstborn. I definitely did.
Right.
And I think that's what led, it didn't help the situation that I got myself into regarding the attempted murder.
Yeah.
So I completely sympathise with her, and all you can do, obviously, you've got to just be there for her and just help with that baby as much as you can, because there's days when you feel like you can't even parent, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. So I sympathise with her.
Yeah. So at the time then, when this guy got a slap on the wrist, to you then, were you a bit upset that he didn't get punished harsher?
I don't know. It's like I'm so...
Or you just wanted to move past
it?
I
just wanted to move past it. And it's just... I think, okay, he's been punished. He's not in the position of power that he was. He can't do this to other girls, because there was also a rumour from another girl that he kept opening her flap when she was getting changed. So I knew I wasn't the only one, at least. I mean, I say at least as if I want it to happen to anybody else. But so he has been taken out of that position of power. So for me, that's it. I've gone, all right, okay, that might be it. If I'd have gone to court, I think there would have been more. He would have got like an actual jail term. So no, I've just wanted to forget it at this point and just that was that.
Let's put him to rest then.
Yes, let's put him to rest, yeah.
During your period in prison then, do you have any other stories, or was there anything else dramatic outside of that happened, or any other high-profile prisoners that came in?
I mean, there was high-profile prisoners, but nothing really to write home about. I think Sue Baker, are you aware of that case with the contract killing of her husband? And I think don't quote me, but I think it was 2 of her sons that were involved. It was like a contract killing of her husband to get inheritance, and then obviously it backfired. And I remember when I first went in there, my telly wasn't working. She swanned into my room to help me with my remote. And I thought, oh, wow, this is Sue. But, I can't judge really. Like,
when you say a plan didn't work out as planned, did the guy die?
I think he died, yeah. I think listen, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up.
We'll
You need to
Googling
Google,
it.
Google it.
Yeah.
It was Sherwood Forest. It was the Sherwood Forest murder. So, yeah.
I think I saw some of it on the news.
Yeah, so that was that. Who else was in there? I mean, there was another baby killer that came up to me. She'd stuffed socks in the baby's mouth. Oh. Yeah, killed the baby. And me, because she seemed so sweet. This was before I'd really got into the rhythm of prison. And she said, she would talk to me and like, oh, hi, Gemma. And I thought, oh, this little cute girl. She was obviously just vulnerable and she should be on a psych ward, not in here. Oh, no. And then someone goes, why are you talking to her? And I was like, she's just sweet, And they were like, you do know she killed her baby. So I've had to go up to her and go, she's come over to me one day and I've gone, look, sorry, don't talk to me ever again. And I could see her heartbreak, and I even felt bad for a second. But I was like, look, there's some things I can't. I know what I've done is wrong, but I cannot accept what you've done. And actually, oh my gosh, I've got another story here. So I'm sitting in the link, as I've said before. Who's walked in? Only my ex's cousin. I've gone, what? My ex's cousin? I've literally, wait till next movement, gone back to use the phones. I'm like, mother, what the heck is she doing in here? She's gone, oh, she set her house on fire and killed her kids, allegedly. She's in there. The 2 of it's a very, very, very sad story, so I shouldn't be so nonchalant about it. But because she's my ex's cousin, it's a bit, it's easy for me to be flippant about it.
Can you tell us the full story?
So the full story being, her partner wasn't coming home from work, or, he was saying he was going to be late, this and that. She's allegedly fabricated a story on Facebook to say somebody's attacking the house, staged a fire, set the house on fire. She's managed to throw 1 child out, but then 2 have obviously passed.
Oh my my God, you know how old they were?
4 and 2, roughly.
It's so sad.
It's really sad, and you can Google this. This is all on Google. But I can't say the name because she was found not guilty, even though there was a stack of evidence, even comments that she'd made in the ambulance. Yeah, I can't repeat them, obviously, because I don't think they've been published. And her other child that survived isn't in her care, or wasn't in her care. Whether he is now, I can't say. But yeah, so that was a situation as well.
And did you interact with her?
No, but I made sure the prison knew. Oh, I didn't interact with her. Absolutely not after what I'd been told. I wouldn't anyway, because she's my ex's cousin. I've told the whole prison what she's done for, and she was on the, I made sure she got on that vulnerable wing, and she, didn't leave it again. The whole prison come. I've gone to a visit. Her boyfriend, get on this, her boyfriend's turned up. He's gone to me, hiya. I've gone, don't effing talk to me, you B. He's then sat down thinking, what? I'm like, no, mate, we're not the same. You know what I mean? There's things you do and things you don't do, or things you shouldn't do and you end up doing. So that was that. He's gone and turned up to court in a clown mask, trying to imitate, is it Mad Frankie Fraser? Was it him that turned up in a clown mask?
I don't know.
Why on earth?
Dave Courtney showed up as a jester.
It could be someone, I'm not sure. I could have got the name wrong, so, correct me if I'm wrong. But somebody turned up back in the day in a clown mask. He's done the same. A scary Halloween clown mask. What? To a court case where your children have passed? Are you for real? This is not a drama. This is a serious, serious crime. And you're treating it. I think what he was trying to say, it was a joke that his girlfriend or partner, wife, whatever she was, had been arrested for it, but whatever. I mean, I've got my own opinion on it and I'm entitled to it, so I'm going to have it.
Wow.
So yeah, that was it from prison, really. Not much else happened.
To you, but what about around you? Did you hear of prisoners getting attacked by guards or other prisoners or anything like that?
So the prison officers, I mean, they can come out and say, they are the greatest of all time or whatever, but I disagree. So they'll find the most vulnerable prisoners and they will pick on them. So there was a girl down on the bottom deck who would use a ligature quite often to attempt ending her life. And she would do this on a regular basis. And yes, it was a bit of a pain, but she was vulnerable. So I didn't judge, because all night it's kicking off. And the prisoner guard would open the flap and go, are you going to try anything today? Just really wind her up about it. Oh, got to set your bed on fire today. She was, is it a pyromaniac?
Yeah.
Yeah, pyromaniac. She clearly had some borderline personality disorder. I felt a bit sorry for her. I couldn't help it. So she would regularly set things on fire and use the ligatures, and then he would just mimic her and stuff like that. Or if there was a vulnerable prisoner kicking off doing a dirty protest where, you know what that is, you use your feces to wipe it all over the windows and walls, the guards would get suited and booted and they would just give him a kicking. It's this is why we got to end the stigma of mental health. And if you're going to do a job that's going to work with vulnerable people, you've got to have some form of compassion. You can't just go in there and be I'm going to give her a kick in. It's like a hype for them. And even recently, I don't go to the gym. It was my first and last time. Two prison officers are behind me. They're like, oh yeah, do you remember where? I think they were trying to impress me, but little did they know, little old me's been in prison, mate. So it's the worst thing you could have said. And they're going, oh yeah, do you remember when we give so-and-so a shoe in? And do you remember? I've just turned around and I thought, I'm going to smack that dumbbell around your head. No, honestly, I'm sorry. I know that's violence, but I didn't. And that's where, I didn't do it. But I thought, right, that's the last time I'm going to blimmin' gym. So that was that. That was my gym experience. But, it's you've got to stop this. The prison officers, the police officers. Police officers are terrible as well. There might be some good ones.
We've had some good ones on the channel, and they whistle blow on the bad ones.
Bloody flipping brilliant. Sorry, brilliant then, great. That's perfect. Because I remember a situation. I lived in London. I'm just going to skip to this part if you don't mind. I lived in northwest London on Chalkhill Estate for about 5-6 years. And we would often go to Friant Country Park with the kids because the parakeets, I don't know if in London, they've got parakeets flying around. So we would go and take pictures in Friant Country Park of the parakeets. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. So I'm like, let's get the camera out, kids. 2 days later, after being in there, the two sisters, unfortunately, are you aware of that? Bibba and Nicole. And they were murdered in the park. All they were guilty of is I think we could have possibly been in lockdown era, and they've wanted to celebrate a party, a birthday. They've gone there, and bless them, it was so cute. They've had fairy lights and cushions, and they were just, if you see these girls, they're just sweet women, you know, just having a nice time. Unfortunately, they were murdered brutally, in the most brutal way, by one guy who's clinically insane, thinking if he kills these girls, he's going to go and get endless women in heaven and all the rest of it, right? And I'm not even sure the police looked for him straight away. If I remember rightly, I mean, you'll have to look it up. It is on Google. But I think one of the partners found them, or a member of the public, something along those lines. So the police haven't gone straight out to it or something like that. When the police have finally gone out to it, they've taken selfies with the bodies of these women. Yeah, it gets me. You do remember it. It gets me so angry. Because in these women, I saw myself, because they were like hip chicks, you know what I mean? They're just there. They just want to have a bit of wilderness, having a good time. It was heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. It's like, why would you do that? This is why, you know, the system needs to change. It's like, if you're going to do a job in that, you know, that position, come on, have some respect, have some compassion. Don't be doing these things. But it happens all the time. And this is why the system, I've been screwed over by the system more times than I've had hot dinners, you know. So, sorry to touch on that. I'll go into London further down the line. But yeah, I just wanted to mention, you know, this is where we're just being failed by prison officers, by police officers, by social services, by schools, by teachers. You know, it's just on and on.
It's by design, because they profit from every angle.
Yeah.
They profit from incarcerating people. They profit from the drug gangs, everything. But let's go back, because, you know, when you're facing a serious charge, which is attempted murder, they look at your life history. They want to see if there's any circumstances, mitigating factors, they're called. And then there's aggravating factors that might make your sentence worse.
Yeah.
So you've got a list of mitigating factors.
Yeah.
You know, going back to your early childhood. And should we go over those?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one you've written down here is about your stepdad's sister getting SA'd and burnt alive.
This is horrendous.
How old were you when this happened?
So no, I wasn't born when this happened,
Okay.
but this is what led to his addiction.
Right.
So that's why I want to touch on it, because I don't want people to judge my parents just because I'm coming out saying they've got an addiction, because a lot of things do trigger addiction, and I want to end the stigma, like stop judging. So him and his sister have gone to a school, or his sister's gone to a school disco, and he was supposed to walk her home, my stepdad. Unfortunately, something's happened where he's not walked her home. This guy was trying to make a pass at her at the party, and she said no, you know, she wasn't that type of person, you know, she just wasn't ready. She said no, he's then followed her home, dragged her to like an industrial bit somewhere, I'm not sure if it was somewhere in Glossop anyway, you can Google it, it's all on Google. He's SA'd her, and then to cover up the evidence has burnt her, but she was still alive at this point. He's set her on fire. He's kicking her in the face to, you know, cover up any, well, I suppose, I don't know, just her identity, I guess. So yeah, that happened. And then my stepdad has then got to live with the guilt of he didn't walk her home from that party. And, you know, so many years down the line, we just lost him recently near the anniversary of her death. So it's something that clearly played on his mind to the point where it couldn't play on his mind anymore, and he's ended his life.
What happened to your biological parents then?
So, excuse me. So, I was a teen pregnancy. My dad was 16, my mum was 17. I think my mum tried to have me for about 6 months. My mum was already adopted. She was already in an orphanage, adopted at 2 years old. So the same lady that adopted her then adopted me, not on paper, but, you know, just said, I'll look after her. I think there was a little bit of maybe encouraging my mum, oh, you can't cope, I'll take the baby, da 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 da. So yeah, I felt like abandoned, I guess, because they parted ways. My mum then found my stepdad. They moved to Manchester, and I was just raised by my grandma, and then there would be weekends I would go to Manchester. So I'd flip between the two. Yeah.
And what do you know about the Quality Street gang?
So rumour has it, allegedly, my mother and stepfather were selling drugs for the Quality Street gang. They would go to, I think it's called Ancoats, and collect quantities of substance and sell it, basically. We would have punters coming in and out, in and out, in and out. And, you know, I don't know what... to me, I know it sounds bad, Sean, but it was quite fun in a weird way. We'd have different characters coming up. We'd have No Nose Gary, who's had his nose bitten off. We'd have, No Ears Michael, because he's had his ear bitten off. We've got Bermuda Shorts Dave or whatever, because he wears Bermuda Shorts. Northerners, we just give a nickname to everybody. So, we'd have all these characters coming in. And I remember, there was some bad times. Obviously, like, they would smoke white and obviously inject brown. And the fumes would send me and my sister nuts. So they had a metal cosh from, or a metal baton, whatever you say, an old cosh from the police, some police officer somewhere where somebody's nicked it. She'd chase me around the flat with the cosh. This child who's high on white fumes, yeah. The hamster even got out of this sounds ridiculous, but the hamster has even managed to break free, so he's had a great time. So you can imagine, it was a very toxic environment. Anyway, one guy's come in, had an epileptic fit, kicked my stepdad's brown everywhere, all over the floor, so you can imagine. He's having this fit. Some guys in the other room going, get a spoon, he's going to swallow his tongue, and everyone's trying to shove this spoon in his mouth, That was one occurrence. And then me and my sister would argue who's going to go to the door to serve the punter up. I want to do it, I want to do it. It does sound insane.
How old are you guys at that point?
8, and she was probably
oh my goodness
4. Yeah, well, I was 10 and she was 4, yeah. But I think it was normal life to me, Sean. I don't really know anything else. Like, luckily for me, I did go back to my nan, during the week. So I had kind of a normal life. But my sister, she was in it. She was in it hard. So bless her. She struggled.
Who got shot in the face?
So my stepdad got shot in the face, not point blank. So what happened is they went missing. At this point, my parents have gone missing now. I've not heard of them. Usually I'm there every weekend. Now I've not heard of them for like 6 months. So somebody's come to the house and gone, oh, your dad's been shot in the face. I've had to go to school, get the teacher to ring round all the hospitals in Manchester to say if somebody's been shot in the face. But the story was, obviously, when he did come back, he was on the run from the said gang, and he was having a zoo on the balcony of where he was hiding out. Because he had big dreadlocks, his dreadlocks were like hanging over the side of the balcony, and somebody's clocked him, or somebody said he was there. I don't know. That was the story, the dreadlock story, right? Mate, he's come from this gang and gone, Jono. He's dead now, so I can say his name. My dad, that is, my stepdad. And he's gone, poof. Luckily, he's gone like that, but it's gone vroom, like that, and skimmed his head, so his head's just split open. So that was the story of that.
Wow.
Yeah. It sounds crazy, doesn't it?
And then you lost your biological father.
Oh, gosh, that was really sad. So,
how old were you?
13. So me and my friends, we'd done a fundraiser for Comic Relief at school because we were quite like that, we wanted to get involved. I've come home. This wasn't the first time. He'd previously tied a noose, and then he lost a baby to cot death, and I think that's what triggered it. He's tied a noose around the loft. I think it was the loft or something. Anyway, he's ended up breaking and he's survived. And then my stepdad used to say to me, oh, go and ask your dad how it's hanging. So that's trauma in itself, So that's all happened anyway. Where were we? Yeah, so 13, I've come home and my grandma, she's gone, your mates need to go home. I've gone, okay. She's like, we've got bad news. She's not sat me down. She's not prepped me. She's not made me a brew. She's not given me a bag of crisps, something that you would think you would do to a child before you bump that news on him. She's then said, your dad's ended his life. Just like that. Well, I mean, the last time I spoke to him, it was an argument. So, and then I've now got to internalise that. I just remember we had a wall divider, you know, the old-fashioned wall dividers. I've just swiped everything off the wall divider. I've gone in a heap on the floor. Yeah, it was horrendous. But then I've gone to my friend's house a few days later. Her mum's got a phone call to say, it was me granddad. I mean, he won't call himself my granddad because he doesn't want anything to do with me, but whatever. He never did from being born. He's gone, oh, it's Gemma's fault, to my friend's mum. Obviously, my friend's mum has had a conversation about it. My friend's heard it, relayed it to me. So then not only have I got to internalise the fact that I've left on an argument, now I'm getting the blame for his death, even though I've not spoke to him for, I don't know, 3 years or whatever, yeah? So, yeah, that happened.
So at 13 years old then, did you go to the funeral for your
No. So he was cremated and the ashes were scattered at a place where I used to live called Solomon's Temple. So I know where his ashes are and I'm at peace with that. But it wasn't until... I wouldn't have been able to tell this story a few years ago. So one thing my forensic counsellor did do is she just asked me. Nobody had ever asked me before how I felt, and she did. I don't want to cry again, so I'm not going to go into it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then you leave your grandmother.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So my mum and stepdad are not missing anymore. He's all patched up now and she's all right. And yeah, they're back in the hometown, which is my hometown. They're still doing what they're doing, but for somebody else this time. Oh, in the process of this as well, I must touch on the fact that an opposite gang, when my stepdad went to prison, another gang came in and gang essayed my mum along with a guy that was also staying there. Yeah, nicked her XR3 eye. So yeah, I forgot I left that bit out.
Hold on. The gang essayed your mum?
Yeah.
And what happened to the other guy that was there?
He, again, essayed. She used to get a guy from upstairs because my stepdad went to Strange Ways. And she used to get the little guy from upstairs to come and stay just for a bit of company. Luckily, me and my sister were at my grandma's. But an opposite gang from my side have come in, gang essayed her, gang essayed him, nicked the XR3i Escort, I think it is. I'm not good with cars. Took all the supply. So that was an experience as well. So yeah, that happened.
Oh, you dodged that one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Imagine if me and my sister were there. Just imagine, like, do people like that mess around? I don't know. So that was a silver lining.
So how long were you with your mother for?
So I was with my mum from about 13 years old. What happened was I was living with my nan, but my mum seemed more interesting because she had all the boys coming in, young lads. I'm 14. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. People coming to, get whatever they needed to get. So I've gone and moved in with her. And then that's when, it's just deteriorated. No, all my middle-class friends didn't want anything to do with me. Their middle-class parents didn't want them hanging around with a trap house, basically. So I've lost all them and I've had to start hanging around with the, lower end of the chain.
And what were you like at school? Could you concentrate?
No, maybe that's why I've been diagnosed with a mental health problem. Maybe that's what's triggered it. But no, I couldn't concentrate. I did for a little bit, but no, not really. I was always in a state of fight or flight. And I always thought, when am I going to get the call that one of them's, passed? Yeah. So no, I couldn't concentrate in school.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I stayed with my mum from 14 to 17 is when I obviously moved out with my ex, who I did what I did to.
Which goes back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So now we should go back to your more recent years then.
Mm-hmm.
And so, let's see. God, it's just every single
I know,
talking
sorry,
point is just
Sean.
mental, isn't it?
Sorry, Sean, I know.
Took my sister. Your mum repeated ODing.
Yeah.
Took you sister to
Okay.
end you guys.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
She tried to end you guys.
No, I tried to end me and my sister.
You did.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind at that point?
Going through my mind at that point. So my mum would overdose, or she would take too much, and sometimes a dirty hit, you would call it. So the leg would swell, or her arm would swell. And it's just this one particular night, she'd gone out on the town. This guy who was not a very nice character knew she was in a vulnerable position. She was obviously gouching, falling asleep, for people that don't know. He's took her to his flat to do whatever. By this time, I know what's happening. So I'm like, my sister's hysterical. I'm hysterical. I've said, I had a boyfriend at this time, but he was at the pub because he was a lot older than me. I was 16, he was 27.
Was that the steroid head?
Yeah, steroid head. So I've thought, this is it. We're better off gone out of this world. Social services aren't helping us. No one's helping us. You know, my mum has even asked for help. Like, it wasn't like she wasn't saying she didn't need help, because she did. She said, I need help to raise my girls. So I've tipped all the antibiotics that have been left over, all paracetamol, you know, all prescription things, put them all in a little packet, and I've said, come on, we're going. You're going to take them and I'm going to take them, and we're not going to be here in the morning. I mean, me saying that to what would she have been, 10? Yeah, not nice at all. We've gone I've took her to the skate park. We're sitting under the skate park, and I've got a big bottle of water and all these tablets, and then all of a sudden my phone's gone. So the one thing that boyfriend did do is he did save my life that night, because he said, what's happened? Where are you? What the hell are you thinking? And I've obviously said, I'm going to eradicate me and my sister. He's then took us back to my house, where this man is still in my house. He's brought my mum back at this point. This guy's punched him in the face. So luckily he's gone. I've saw red at this thought and thought, yeah, he's punched him, so I'm going to smash his car up. So I'm stood on his car with a breeze block, smashing the car like that. So yeah, it was a madness. It really was a madness. So, but yeah, she came round in the end, and the next morning it was like nothing ever happened. Yeah.
And then your stepdad tried to end your mum?
Whew. Yeah. Well, should we touch on the boyfriend first? Because we'll do boyfriend quickly. Yes. So I was in a relationship with a guy who was 27 and I was 16. Bearing in mind, when I was 16, I looked about 12. So it was already gross anyway, right? But it was consensual. There was nothing untoward there. You know, it was completely consensual, right? We've moved in a bedsit at some point. A very brief period of time. I'm talking 2 weeks. He's then started taking anabolic steroids. Me and my friend have gone back to the flat, where he one night has decided we'd gone to get holiday brochures, and from across the road, he's gone, where do you think you're going on holiday? You're not going to go on holiday. And I'm like, what? I thought, yes, I am. I'm 16. You can't tell me what to do. We've gone back to the bedsit. He's then come in a rage, chased me and my friend round, and she can vouch for me, with a samurai sword. He's lunged at me with the samurai sword. I've ducked. It's hit the door. I've gone, let's get out of here quick. I've managed to... This is a house share with uni students. You know, uni students. They're thinking, what the hell is going on? Anyway, that's happened. He's calmed down. I've gone back the same night. I don't know what possessed me to go back. And then the next night he's kicked off. Something else has kicked off. Or he's gone out all night and I've said, well, don't bother coming back. I've then written a nasty letter to him and I've stuck it to the wall. Yes, it was nasty, and what I said in it, maybe I shouldn't have said it. It's triggered him. He's come banging on my mum's door. My mum's opened the door. He's gone, where's Gemma? He's seen a little, like a steak knife on the kitchen side. Bomb, straight through his leg in front of me. Mum, me and my little sister. My sister's hysterical. There's blood spurting everywhere. My mum's just took it in her stride. She's gone, get me a tea towel. What you doing? Don't be so bloody daft. Wrapping his leg up. I'm like, what is going on? Now I'm internalising it, thinking, oh my gosh, I've left a nasty letter, blah, 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 blah. The ambulance has come and I've thought, I'm going to have to get back with him because what's going to happen? We've got to a certain point. Unfortunately, this is a very sad story, but his mother ended her life. Very, very sad story. So we've got to a certain point in the journey and he's gone, tell me when we get past this certain point. And I've gone, why? And he's gone, that's where my mum passed. At this point, I've looked at him and all I've done is my heart's just broken for this guy. I've thought, this is nothing to do with me. You know, he's not purposely come to cause me trauma and my family trauma. Like, it's about his mum, and this is just a boy that's never spoken out, and he's just heartbroken. So for me, that was a very heartbreaking situation. I mean, we ended up splitting up down the line. I think I even cheated on him. I held my hands up. I think I cheated on him and the relationship ended. But the good thing is now he's happy in a relationship with kids, you know, so fair play to him, and everybody deserves their happy ending. But that was the story.
And then your stepdad tried to end your mum.
Then my stepdad tried to end my mum. So by this point, my mum has got a little taste for the drink. So she has then wanted to get rid of him. And he was a bit of a swine anyway, right? So I don't really blame her. I didn't see what she accused him of, the beatings and this and that, but then I did that night. So I'd heard it, but I didn't want to believe it. Like, I'd seen a lot of arguing and things like that, but the things that she was telling me were quite heinous, so I was like, oh, I don't know. Anyway, he's got on the white, severely on the white, got in the car, drove hell for leather up to our house, caused a huge pile-up crash. This is a small town, yeah, so everybody knows who's done it and what. A old woman's got injured. I'm like, great, you know, as if we need this much, you know, drama. He's come in. I've been in the living room. Someone's knocked at the door. I didn't realise it was him because I didn't know about the car crash because I'm in the house with my mum. He's knocked the door. She's opened the door, let him in. And then the next thing I know, I just hear whack, whack, and he's just got her hair. My mum's the same size as me, tiny. He's got her head and he's bouncing it off the kitchen sink, and instantly it's just gone like that. Whoa. I've gone in there. I've seen that, like, my mum was just cutting cheese for a sandwich. There's a knife on the side, so I've grabbed the knife. I've said to him, I'm going to juck you up in a minute if you carry on doing that. He's then grabbed the knife off me, starts slashing his throat. Sorry, I've just spat everywhere. Starts slashing his throat. Luckily, like, it wasn't like a sharp knife, so it's only started to cut. I've gone screaming. He's then dropped the knife. My mum's in the corner on her own, like literally in a heap on the floor. He's got a Dulux paint can from the side. He's whacking his head with this Dulux. He's dinted. Do you know what a can of Dulux paint's like? He's dinted the can of Dulux paint on his head. Anyway, we've managed to get him out, but what I've not realised is he's got the knife with him. So he's telling my mum to come to the letterbox. And then he's like, come here, Jackie, come here. Just put your ear to the letterbox. Next thing I know, through the letterbox, he's waving it around, trying to get at her. So yeah, that was that. I mean, he did go to court and I got dragged through the court for it. And at the end of the day, he is my stepdad and I did love him. So it was a very tricky situation for me to be in.
This is like one of the most relentingly harrowing podcasts
It's mental.
we've ever done. It just doesn't ever stop, does it?
It doesn't stop, no.
There's no...
It's stopped now.
I'm not quite sure it has. So you had an affair with somebody. Can we talk about that?
The celebrity?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
How did that come about?
So what happened was, well, it technically wasn't an affair because me and my boyfriend were on the rocks. Don't get me wrong, he was a swine at some points in our relationship. So
how old are you at this point?
27. So we've had a little break, and then I've took the kids to see a show in Derby Theatre, a pantomime. And I've seen who was in this pantomime and thought, oh my gosh, I used to watch him when I was a kid. I'm going to throw him a text on, it was Twitter back then, it's X now. I'm going to throw him a tweet, text, a message, whatever. He's only gone and replied, hasn't he? Yeah. So I'm messaging him and it's going back and forth. And he was like, oh, do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, okay. At this point, I actually want to be a comedian. So I've been writing jokes for a long time. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if these jokes could be aired, but so I'm thinking he's a comedian. I want to be a comedian. So there was a little bit of, you know, like maybe he can give me a boost up. I'll admit it. It wasn't all for, oh, I really like this guy. I was thinking, oh, maybe he could, you know, elevate me in the business. So, yeah, the next thing I know, I'm meeting him in Derby, and I've even got my child with me at this point. But we've just gone and had a little chat, had a little whatever. I've come back 2 days later, he's come to my house, and I've got him sitting on my sofa. I mean, he's not A-list, let's just put that out there. And I can't say his name because it was fully consensual. You know, I agreed to it, he agreed to it, we had fun, and that's all there is. And I don't want to drag him through it. But he did... Oh, do you want me to say what he worked on?
Go on.
The Big Breakfast. Do you remember that show?
People can be Googling this. I don't, because I don't watch TV.
Oh, wait till he finds out. He's going to go, you swine. Yeah, there you go, Sean. You've got a big news there.
So you witnessed multiple shootings while living in London?
So I didn't witness them directly, but I was in the area at the time and I was there. The commotion was there. So London, Chalk Hill Estate, don't know if you've heard of it, North Wheezy. Anyway, lived on there for 5 years. I've took the kids to the park. Don't get me wrong, Chalk Hill Estate is a vibe. And when you're on it, it's like nothing phases you because you're just in that situation. I've took the kids to the park, right? Let's all go to the park before it gets busy, kids, 9 o'clock in the morning. Bosh, it's all cordoned off. Blood, claret everywhere. And I've gone, oh, great, what's happened here? I've said, are you going to open this park? I've just took it in my stride because you do. Kids are there, blood everywhere. And I've gone, are you going to open this park? Can you just open this bit so we can go in the park? Me not thinking, what do your kids think of this, Gemma? But anyway, eventually they were like, he was looking at me, gone out this copper. He's like, what are you going on about? There's been a shooting. No, you can't come in the park. So anyway, I was like, okay, well, all right. Well, I'm going to take a look at all the blood instead then. So I was just bringing up kids down. I was like, oh, we'll have a look at the crime scene. I don't know what I was thinking, Sean. Look, sometimes I'm not the most rational person, right? Let's just
You've got to have a gallows sense of humour to get through it.
Yeah, you have. So, so that happened. So that was what happened was a guy had got his arm shot. I don't know whether it was completely off or just a little bit or whatever, but he got shot in the arm and you can Google this. It was on Chalk Hill Road. So that happened. And then there was, unfortunately, there was the shooting of... because it's in the papers, I can say it. Craig Smalls. I don't know if you heard of that. And it was on the...
What happened?
He was on the Harrow Road outside one of the chicken shops. I think it was Chicken Cottage with his young boy, I think, or his child. I can't say if it was a boy or not. And unfortunately, I don't know the dynamics at play, what caused it or what happened, but he's been shot and killed, shot in the head, I think, in front of his child, man. In front of his kid. And on the same day, we were going to I'd taken the kids to the park and they're like, oh, can we go Bossman's off licence to get some treats? And I've gone, yeah. There's been a commotion and we've seen people running. This is the same day. And my boyfriend was with us at the time and he's gone, get your head down and run. Like, we seen a commotion. I didn't hear any shots or anything, but he's gone, get the kids home now. Little did we know, apparently it was the same shooter that's done Craig Smalls. So yeah, it's so sad, man. I mean, people want to say about, lawless London and this and that and moan about it, but nobody's doing anything to change it. And these kids, all they are is kids. They're just, what else? They get sucked up by London life and it's just so sad. It's just really sad. And then, so that was the situation. Then next thing you know, you've got the air ambulance coming, kids are all running out. I mean, I shouldn't have really let the kids run out, but we did. We all went out. And then a guy has been stabbed. Can I say that? Okay, a guy's been stabbed by another guy and he's now passed. It was all the time, Sean, all the time. And then what else was there? Oh, there was all sorts. I mean... just little things. To me, there was a guy that always was wielding a machete, but I knew him. So I'd walk past him and I'd be like, "You all right, mate?" And he'd be like, "Yes," and doing all this mad stuff with the machete. And then even one time we had a family member over and she was like, "Can I get out the car?" No, she rang my boyfriend and said, "Can I get out the car? There's a guy with a machete." And we were just like, "Oh yeah, that's just so-and-so, he's all right, just get out." And she's like, "Okay," but you just normalise it, Sean. But it did have its good points. Now, Grime Daily, I don't know if you've heard of Grime Daily. They're a music company that promote like urban music and stuff like that. So we'd have Little Shaq doing his music videos. There was Big French out there doing music videos. I think even Keiko did music videos out there. They were all doing the music videos. We'd get to watch it. The kids would be watching it and filming it from the window. It was really interesting. And it was like such a community on that street. And I never felt out of place. These guys treated me with the most utmost respect. They were so lovely to me. And even Flirta D, have you heard of Flirta D? So no, Flirta D, he's like big in the game. Shaq Man, all of these guys are just such genuine guys. If you don't know them, look them up, seriously. worth a look.
How old were you when you got diagnosed as a sociopath?
So I was diagnosed as a sociopath. When was that? I would have been 28. Yeah.
What led to you getting that diagnosis?
So they diagnosed me with bipolar first, and then this was always a second diagnosis, a query, but it was just due to the violent behaviour. So I am classed, unfortunately, as a prolific violent offender and under MAPA 2, which is a multi-agency unit, whereas you have to have extra agencies involved when you come off licence. Now, what happened with my ex is I was arrested every time he was arrested. So that built my criminal record up, and now I'm branded a prolific violent offender, even though those crimes were with him, and it was him.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah. So now I'm branded that, and they were like, we can't get to the root of your violent history. And I was like, it's my ex. You know, I've not been in trouble since my ex. Everything that is on my record, and I've brought it here, and I've brought his record as well. So I've got all the paperwork, and this is why I'm speaking out now, because I've spent 15 years gathering paperwork. So now my life is ruined. I'm branded a sociopath because of my record. So that's what it was. It was the criminality. But I'm too empathic, Sean, to be a sociopath. I don't agree with it. And I want that reversed. Yes, bipolar, I would agree. I have got bipolar 100%, and that's why I go under the alias Bipolar Mum Journey. Follow me Instagram. So yeah, that's what led to that.
So where are you at now then? Are you
Where
happy?
am I at now? Is anybody happy, Sean?
I think people have various degrees of it.
Yeah.
We're all fluctuating through our emotions.
I'll tell you
And
this.
some people have more happiness than others. Some people are stuck on other things, perhaps.
I think my kids are doing brilliant.
Good.
Am I happy? Mm-mm. Will I ever be happy? I don't know. And that's a sad reality.
But you've like, they said they didn't know the root cause. You've come here today and you've told us the root cause.
Yeah.
In great detail, all these factors that have contributed to, they say childhood trauma is the main root cause of crime. And you've just gone through horrific thing after horrific thing after horrific thing.
Yeah.
It's totally understandable.
Yeah.
But you could take that energy and transform it into what you're doing now. And I think that's where I see you're at.
This is where I'm trying to end the stigma, because if I can just reach a couple of people not to be ashamed and not carry shame, then I've done my job. I'm not out here for money or anything or fame. I don't want in fact, this is not fame to me. When I'm getting this story out there, people are going to judge me, and I know that. But I just want to end the stigma. If your parents are addicts, that's not your fault. I went to school every day feeling ashamed because people would stigmatise me and call me nasty names. And I was also on free school meals, which is nothing to be ashamed of. And back in the day, you had to go up to the counter. I mean, I don't know if you were ever on free school meals, but you had to go, oh, my name's so-and-so and I'm on free school meals. Luckily they don't do that now. You've got the card and the pin. So you can, if you are on free school meals, it's not public knowledge. And I just want to end the stigma for mental health, people that have suffered domestic violence, not just women. I'm not just here for the women. I'm here for the men as well. And that's it really, Sean. I just want to build a support group where people can talk without being judged. And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. And that's my plan.
What I was trying to get at, and I've realised now,
Yeah,
when I was describing you in the introduction,
Yeah.
you've got the fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see you're on a mission.
Yes.
You've just got that powerful presence.
Yeah.
Like I detected that when you sent me the video, but being in the room sitting opposite
Oh, really?
you,
Yeah.
it is just like some people have to raise their energy up to like talk about something enthusiastically. You're just there
Yeah.
all the time, which
Okay.
is a unique thing. There's not many people who have that.
Really?
Yeah, have that fire, that passion.
Really?
Yeah. We've interviewed tons of people, over 1,000.
Really?
Yes.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Do you think
some
maybe
people
that's
just-
why I struggle to make friends then? Because people see that as well? Or what is that? Or I'm just too authentic?
I think some people just sit there and it's like almost like they're mumbling and just talking in a monodrone about the story and not really
Get it out there.
engaging
Okay.
the public.
Yeah.
But you're the complete opposite.
Okay.
You're like, once you start listening to you can't stop.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like
Ah!
it's not only is it your ability to tell it, it's also the things that you've gone through.
Yeah.
There's no there's no like pause for like anyone to get bored.
Okay.
Because it's all so intense.
Okay.
Back to back stories. Back me up on this, viewers. If you've sat here for almost 2 hours.
Has it been 2 hours?
And you felt the same.
Right.
As I felt, because it's just gone like that. It's been so interesting.
I mean, my sweat patches would say it's been 2 hours, but yeah, it didn't feel like 2 hours, did it?
It didn't, no, because it's been so engaging.
Right.
And for those viewers then that have been sat here watching you for 2 hours, then Gemma.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to them in conclusion? And all of Gemma's links are in the description box below this video. So please go down and support her work if you watch it on YouTube. If it's on the audio platform, she'll spell them out for you. But yeah, do you want to spell them out and tell the viewers, in conclusion, what you'd like to say?
In conclusion, all I want to say is just show love and support and don't hate. Like, if you're going to comment hate, just think about it first and think, what could I do to just prevent me from doing that? Because I think it's so important to show love, and you will find that you will elevate in life if you work on love and not hate. I think I was even rolling on hate for a long time, and I was getting nowhere. As soon as I forgive my perpetrators, I forgive my parents, and I just had a vibration of love. And I've elevated, Sean. Mentally, I've elevated. And look where I am. In 4 weeks, I've not had social media for 15 years. In 4 weeks, I'm sitting here with Sean Atwood. Sean Atwood. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, no. Show love, people. That's it.
Oh, what a beautiful way to end the podcast.
Yeah.
Can't thank Gemma enough. Please go down and click on the links. And yeah, just to end it, after all that, it was like a catalogue of horrors. Ended on a note of love. And if you have got a grudge against someone, let it go.
Let it go, man.
It's just a waste of mental energy.
Yes.
They don't even know you're hating on them.
Yes.
And it's just causing those bad chemicals to be released.
Absolutely.
Love causes the endorphins, the good chemicals to be released. And
it does. It really does.
Yeah,
if I can be like this after everything I've been through, that's love, baby. That's love.
Give us an old fist bump then.
Go on.
Cheers, nice one.
All right.
Thank you.